Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am Lansana Sako, host of The Hidden Truth. My fellow Sierra Leoneans, today I am going to express or register my disappointment, my opinion on the actions of the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, His Excellency, Dr. Julius Maada Bio, on his decision to not adopt certain instruments or recommendations by the three judges of the commissions of inquiry to fight corruption or hold those who have been found to defraud the people of Sierra Leone. So to me, this is a double standard. To me, the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone has upheld or promoted two types of justice system in the Republic of Sierra Leone by his decision, sole decision, not to adopt this particular recommendation by the three judges of the just concluded commissions of inquiry into the nefarious or dubious activities of the past government of His Excellency, Dr. Bai Koroma, and some parastatals in the country. My fellow Sierra Leoneans, let me give some of you a background. Sierra Leone gained independence in 1961, April 27th. Since then, we have heard successive governments. Up till now, our country or our people are in abject poverty. And the sole reason, sole or most paramount reason for Sierra Leoneans to be in abject poverty amidst the natural resources that we can boast of that others don't have. Places like Gambia in West Africa, they rely on only peanuts, but their GDP is greater than our country, Sierra Leone, that is blessed with diamond, iron ore, gold, good fertile land, with many, many natural resources. Yet still we're lagging behind in standard of living, behind a country that depends only on peanuts. They have no diamond, they have no gold, they have no bauxite, they have no iron ore, they have no rutile. Sierra Leone has it all, the very good fertile land, but yet still her children, sons and daughters, are running out of the shores of Sierra Leone for greener pastures elsewhere. Some of them will even go to their pastors, their priests, to pray for them so they will get a visa from the American embassy, from the French embassy, from the British embassy, so on and so forth. Some will go to marabouts, these Muslim clerics, to give offerings before going to these embassies for flight to the United States, to other countries for greener pastures. Why? Because there is nothing for them in our country. The people that we entrusted with power or positions of authority has looted from the people of Sierra Leone. That has caused all of us, or most of us, to run away from our homelands, to become economic refugees in different countries around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, many of you have seen how our sisters, especially, are treated in some Arab worlds where they're called names, dehumanized, they're called slaves, they're beaten, they're raped, they're abused physically, mentally, and emotionally. You've seen them on social media, crying for help, begging for the government to take them back home. Just recently, the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, His Excellency Julius Maada Bio, they were in Lebanon. They have repatriated some of the Sierra Leoneans, but in total, they have to repatriate 130 of them. We thank the President and his wife for a wonderful job, a job well done. Recently, I got a call from Qatar where Sierra Leoneans called and asked me to intervene. 58 of them, they want to return back home because there is nothing for them in another man's land. They are suffering. They are treated like bush animals, no respect, nothing, absolutely nothing. But thank God I spoke to IOM official or a volunteer by the name of Mr. Maka Conte, who told me 27 of them are leaving and they've left already. I think they left on Sunday. The rest will follow suit. So we thank him and the IOM and the Embassy of Qatar for a job well done. But ladies and gentlemen, these things are happening because we do not have the sustenance in our country. Let me take that back. We do have the sustenance, but because of embezzlement, corruption, misappropriation of the people's fund has led Sierra Leoneans to live in abject poverty. When the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, His Excellency Julius Maada Bio, started his campaign to fight corruption, we were all very, very happy. We are still happy that he fought corruption like no one else has done before him. My fellow Sierra Leoneans, he tabled his ideas in the House of Parliament where our laws are made. All political parties present, meaning the ones that are representing different constituencies in the Republic of Sierra Leone, were present in that parliament, including our 16 paramount chiefs, who automatically, by virtue of their stature and the position they hold in their different chiefdoms, are members of parliament. They were there to cast their votes, whether they will give the mandate to the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone to open up a commissions of inquiries into the activities of the past government of His Excellency Julius Maada Bio. Luckily for Sierra Leoneans, the APC were in the majority by then. That is the party of the former president whose government was to be investigated or has been investigated now. My fellow Sierra Leoneans, they passed the vote and the president prevailed. They opened up the commissions of inquiry to be fair, for it to be transparent, free, and fair. The president selected, or his advisors, together with his attorney general, they selected 2 foreign judges. One from Nigeria, the chief judge amongst them all, Justice Judge Bio Bele Goodwill from Nigeria, the other from Ghana, and one from Sierra Leone called Judge Bankole. My fellow Sierra Leoneans, I think that was a fair selection for transparency, fairness to prevail. After which, some of us came and asked that the trial should be transparent. Therefore, there should be cameras in the trial rooms. 3 inquiry buildings were used, and cameras were allowed in each of the buildings. Accused were allowed to bring in their lawyers to defend them. They defended them vigorously. But at the end, the three commissions of inquiry came up with their final analysis or decisions and handed them over to the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, His Excellency Julius Maada Bio, in a public ceremony. In it was the alleged or the accused and the guilties. My fellow Sierra Leoneans, the chairman of the judges, Justice Biobele Goodwill, after submitting the findings of the commissions of inquiry, he said publicly that the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone conducted himself well, so much so that he never spoke to them, directed them, or interfered with the proceedings of the inquiry. Praised him for doing such an unheard of job in Africa. He urged all African leaders to do the same as the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone. I applauded the President for his fight against corruption, but ladies and gentlemen, I believe the President had the power to actually fight corruption, but he fought it halfway or just quarter way. For when the President announced that he was going to fight corruption and he was going to ask the past administration and other Sierra Leoneans who they believe were involved in dubious activities or defrauded the state, he said no jail term for any one of them. All he's asking, if they find any one of them guilty, all he needs them to do is to repay the state for what they have been charged with. It didn't go down well with me. I believe that's a double standard because our students, our youths are languishing in prisons, in jails, filthy jails where they contract diseases because it's so unsanitary, crowded, so much so that the president, the government, or leaders in our country could care less what happens to them. And the sad part is most of these youths are petty thieves. Maybe they went and stole a flip-flop. They stole a bag of candy. They stole a bag of rice just to survive. But when they are caught, they are sent to this filthy, unsanitary, in an unsanitary condition. Not only that, their right to fair trial is hampered. Their justice is delayed. And according to studies, writers, learned people, justice delayed is justice denied. Our youths go through this all the time. They send them into these crowded and unsanitary prisons for a year, two, without seeing a judge. Right there, violating or denying their constitutional right to see a judge within 72 hours. My fellow Sierra Leoneans, their rights or habeas corpus are not even read to them. They're just arrested, thrown into a vehicle, and then sent to these filthy places to wait until when the government or the state is ready to see any of them. Some of them for 2 years, they'll be there without seeing a judge. For what? Probably for stealing a flip-flop. But here we have 126 citizens of Sierra Leone accused of defrauding the state on a massive scale, bankrupt a whole country of 7+ million inhabitants. According to the fact-finding mission led by the now Chief Minister of the Republic of Sierra Leone, David Francis, and according to the president himself, he said he inherited zero economy. He said the country has been looted to the bare minimum. He also said he found the country bankrupt. Caused by who? By the previous administration, if you can read between the lines. Now that the president has gone beyond to fight corruption, ladies and gentlemen, his first statement was these people must not be imprisoned. All they need to do is pay, and then you are free to go sleep at your house at any time. Ladies and gentlemen, our youths, as I said, they do not have, or those kinds of privileges are not afforded to them. Why? Simply because they are not influential. Simply because they are marginalized. Simply because the president sees them as people that are not important. That is my interpretation. You can take it how you want. You can describe it. And if at all you disagree with me, my assertions, or my opinions, or whatever I say here, you can come on air and challenge me 100%. I am ready to challenge you on every point that I have raised or everything I have said here against the president concerning this white paper or commissions of inquiry. So, ladies and gentlemen, our youths are languishing in prison. No one, not the president or anyone, has ever tabled a bill in parliament to look into petty thieves, to look into those who are languishing in prison, and has yet to see a judge after 1 year or after 6 months. Who, for those who have never laid eyes on a judge, but yet still, we have members of parliament that are shouting all over the country when these commissions of inquiries were announced, when the proceedings for these commissions of inquiry started. They went around the city or the country advocating for people that have stolen from the people of Sierra Leone, causing the death of thousands and thousands of Sierra Leoneans. My fellow Sierra Leoneans, because of the actions of corrupt officials in Sierra Leone, including these ones, 84 of them, including these ones, our pregnant women are dying. Our youths are dying. Our old age ladies, mothers and fathers are dying. Our children are dying before the age 5. The infant mortality rate is about 10%, which is high for any nation, especially for a country of only 7 million people. But yet still, the people that caused or are causing the death of these people are allowed to go home every blessed day and come to court or to the commissions of inquiry in style, in their vehicles, their expensive vehicles, vehicles that they gained through fraudulent activities, bribery and corruption at the detriment of the citizens of Sierra Leone. especially our youths. Fellow Sierra Leoneans, I would like to tell President Bio, in my view, you became a dictator. In my view, President Bio, you didn't fight corruption to the fullest. You started, but you didn't fight. I know everybody wants me to praise the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, saying this is a marvelous job. I do not think so at all, because the President himself knows that the poor, especially the youths, have been suffering in our country since time immemorial. They've suffered under government after government after government because of corruption, rampant corruption. Corruption has become cancer in the blood of our people, introduced by the higher-ups, president, ministers, parastatals, members of parliament, so on and so forth. But yet still, this President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, His Excellency Julius Maada Bio, decided to give a slap on the wrist to all those that are responsible for the decadence, decay and decadence of our country. Those that are responsible for our youths, male and female, to run outside the shores of our country to face punishment and brutality in other places around the world. These are the same people that has caused Sierra Leoneans to prefer hardship or hard labor in other man's country as opposed to sitting home, relaxing, going hungry. These are the same people that are putting our citizens in situations like this. To me, ladies and gentlemen, the actions by the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone not to recommend jail term for any of these people is despicable, is in itself double standard, is in itself two types of justice system in our country, one for the poor, one for the rich. But this President, His Excellency Julius Maada Bio, is proud to say that he is supported by the youths of Sierra Leone. Now that he has the chance to relieve these youths from future plundering of our economy, our resources into the pockets of the few, decided to abdicate that responsibility, decided to choose the thieves, to choose the corrupt leaders that he himself brought to justice. My fellow Sierra Leoneans, the idea behind the thoughts is far-fetched for me to understand how the president looked at this, why he decided to do so. He released a statement why he did this, why he didn't want them to go to jail. He said because he wanted the attention to be focused on the commissions of inquiry, not politics. But ladies and gentlemen, in the first place, the reason why the president did this is to make sure he clamps down on corruption. Corruption comes with punitive measures. What they are told to do, sell their properties and give it back, confiscate them and sell them and bring the money back, that is not punishment. That is the people taking their money back from the people that took it illegally. It is not punishment. Going to jail, sleeping in the same filthy and unsanitary condition that our high school youths and girls are sleeping is what we call you're paying for your crime. If they refund all the monies, each and every one of them, it does not mean they've been punished for what they did. No, the president has been lenient. At least they enjoyed a life of luxury for a long time, sleeping in waterbeds, air-conditioned houses, marbles, expensive European, American, Australian, Canadian furnitures in their houses with swimming pools. They enjoyed for a very, very long time. Now they took it back from them because they gained those luxuries illegally in a fraudulent manner. I do not call that punitive measures. They are not, because in the first place, the money didn't belong to them. Their actions and their intentions are what is to be punished. This is the reason the three judges recommended that they must be barred from holding public office, must not involve in politics. But this president, His Excellency Julius Maada Bio, did not adopt the recommendations of, or that part of the recommendation of the commissions of inquiry. Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow youths in Sierra Leone, poor people in Sierra Leone, what the president did is to tell you and I that your life is not important, is to tell us that you are second-class citizens, is to tell us the social status of a Sierra Leonean determines whether they go to jail or not. My fellow Sierra Leoneans, ladies and gentlemen, we must disagree with our president. We cannot go and follow and praise the president blindly just because the money is taken away from us is being returned, and we call that a victory. That is not victory. It means we didn't punish them. It means they didn't commit a crime. What does it mean? It means they went and borrowed money, used it in whatever way they liked or preferred, enjoyed that money, made profit, and take the bare minimum principal amount and gave it back to us after they and their families have enjoyed it for so long. Do you call that punishment? Do you call that they paid for their crimes? No. Some of you are happy you're putting on paper, Baikroma is going to be homeless, this person is going to be homeless, this person is going to be homeless. You can be homeless and enjoy your freedom. There's nothing wrong with that. You can be homeless and find another way to make a living. But ladies and gentlemen, that youth in Kenema, that youth in Bo, that youth in Freetown, that youth in any part of Sierra Leone, village, city, or town, that is captured for stealing a flip-flop or slippers, first of all, beaten and malhandled, tortured before taking him to police or taking her to a police station, already with that pain, that person's life is completely interrupted. If that person is in college or is in high school, that has to be interrupted because that person has committed crime against the citizens of Sierra Leone. Therefore, the law dictates that they must face the full force of the law, and if they are found guilty, their freedom must be taken away from them and confined in a certain place for a certain period of time according to the penal code of the country. Why not the big fish? Why not someone that stole 64 million? Why not someone amongst them that stole $22,483,028? Why not someone that stole $4,022,163? Can anyone compare $4 million to someone that steals a flip-flop? Anyone? Can anyone in their right mind compare that? So why do we have two different types of laws? One is to go to jail, the other one is not. Why? Because one is at the top level of the social ladder, and the other one is at the bottom. And most of them are our youths, men and women, children that are around, that are in that bracket. So President Bio, you want to tell us you care about the youths. President Bio, let me ask you a question. If I go into your house as your neighbor, when you are out of the house, or even when you're in the house, burglarize, boot stomp your door, go in there, steal everything, including your pets, from your house, would you, knowing that I am still your neighbor, would you pardon me not to go to jail? And if I don't, would you leave your doors open? You won't take any security measures? I doubt it. I think you wouldn't even want me around. You make sure I serve prison time so that a lesson will be taught. But here, President Bio, because these guys are now at the same level, or you have attained the same level as they are, president or the elites of our country, you are allowing these same people to come back, participate in politics, hold public office, denying the recommendations of the commissions of inquiry. So these people can come again, strategize, loot us, and take from us again. So President Bio, let me ask you, would you take a wolf or a lion to guide your sheep? Would you? No, you won't. If you have a farm, President Bio, you will put a fence around your cows or your cattle to deter any predator from coming in. But yet still, President Bio, you left the Sierra Leonean people, the people of Sierra Leone, the citizens of Sierra Leone, to be shepherded by wolves and lions, meaning these criminals that are named in the commissions of inquiry. Now, I am calling them criminals because before we have always said innocent until proven guilty. But the three judges that conducted these inquiries are well-known, well-trained, well-certified judges in the jurisprudence. So I trust their judgment. The president trusts their judgment. Our members of parliament trust their judgment. The trials were free, were transparent, with cameras in each courtroom. All of them, or the defendants, were given the opportunity to argue their case, to be represented by lawyers. Those that lost. There are few of them that were found to not have done any wrongdoing against the people of Sierra Leone. But the president still allowed these criminals that have been named in the commissions of inquiry to have been found to do fraudulent activities against the state. You want these judges, I mean these people, to come back to become ministers, members of parliament, president. Really, Mr. President? And you tell us your job is to protect the citizens of Sierra Leone? Tell me what you protected the citizens of Sierra Leone from. From what? If these people are allowed to occupy the same position that led them or gave them the opportunity to steal from us. Millions and millions of dollars. $22 million alone, ladies and gentlemen, can renovate, build new top-of-the-line hospitals in many parts of Sierra Leone or clinic. 67 million alone can do the same thing all over the country. 90 million can do the same thing all over the country. 5 million can do a lot over the country, around the country. My fellow Sierra Leoneans, the former president, His Excellency Ernest Bai Koroma, was also found guilty of defrauding the people of Sierra Leone, living beyond his means, $5 million and some dollars, plus many other houses that he built, including the house that he was in a place called Godrich that he's contesting, saying he built that house before becoming president. Yes, he had that house there, but when he became president, he demolished the house and built a much more expensive mansion. As if to say, because a structure was there, he shouldn't be investigated for the new one that he built in the place of the old structure. Basically, trying to fool the people. Also, the house of the president in his hometown, Makeni, they found that the house was built for him by a Chinese company. And now, why would a Chinese man that is of no blood relation, you have no cultural similarities, absolutely nothing, for them to just build a house for you for free without giving something up? What he did was he contracted with them, gave them contract without following the procurement rules in Sierra Leone. That is in itself corruption. That's why that house is going to be confiscated according to the commissions of inquiry. Ladies and gentlemen, the same former president, His Excellency Ernest Bai Koroma, his own secretary, his press secretary, Oshokoka, a friend of his, said in court with cameras pointing at him that the former president cajoled him or forced him, pressured him to rent out one of his own personal commercial buildings to the people of Sierra Leone for it to be made to the Petroleum Office. He insisted in court that he didn't want to do it. He told the president himself, you can go and look at the tapes, that this action is conflict of interest, therefore I should not do it. He told us the president insisted that he must do it. When he did, what did the president do? They inflated the cost of the petroleum building per year on the people of Sierra Leone. And according to this same press secretary for the president, Oshokoka, in broad daylight with cameras pointing at him in court, he said, every month, the president will get his own cut from the inflated price. You tell me, is this greed or not? Is this wickedness or not? And we have people asking or telling people that this was a witch hunt. We read a letter purportedly or allegedly written by the president of the Republic, former president of the Republic of Sierra Leone, in it basically saying that this president, His Excellency Julius Maada Bio, has gone above and beyond to capture him or to make him look bad or to destroy his reputation. He went above and beyond to witch hunt him and members that worked in his administration. I posted that letter today. I said allegedly. I don't know if he wrote it, but from all indications, the president released that letter from his office. But this is the same president that also denounced the words witch hunt when he opened commissions of inquiry into the affairs of his predecessor. Only that he didn't go too far. Only one person was called in the person of Alpha Timbo, and then he was found not guilty or he was released, I don't know for what reason, meaning whether there were no sufficient evidence or he didn't commit the crime that he was charged with. Fellow Sierra Leoneans, this same former president said the words witch hunt, that they were telling him that he was witch hunting. And his reply was he was going to end corruption and he was going to fight corruption tooth and nail. So whoever wants to say it's witch hunt, he believes in his heart that he is doing it in the interest of the people of Sierra Leone. He's not witch hunting anyone. Now that he's in the hot seat, with even, let's forget about everything. Let's just talk about what his own press secretary said, Oshokoka, in court with cameras pointing at him, that the president was engaged in a corrupt behavior with him, conflict of interest. This is the same former president, ladies and gentlemen, that is denying all these allegations that registered state-owned vehicles under his own private insurance company that is in itself corruption because it is conflict of interest. He knew that before assuming the position to become the next president, but he did it. So ladies and gentlemen, what I am saying to all Sierra Leoneans today is this, that the president of the Republic of Sierra Leone, His Excellency Julius Maada Bio, you have let down the youths and the poor people of Sierra Leone. You know, people looked at your down-to-earth behavior. You know, you're very humble. I even admire your humbleness. But being humble in the outside does not mean this is the way you behave in the inside. For this particular act, wherein you promoted a double justice, two types of justice system, upheld a double standard in our country, I think showed how ignorant are you about the plights of the poor people in Sierra Leone? How ignorant are you about the plights of our sons and daughters, our youths? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't believe the president knows the gravity or devastation of the actions of the people named in this commissions of inquiry did to the people of Sierra Leone. My fellow Sierra Leoneans, because of corruption, because of the actions of greedy people as the ones named in the commissions of inquiry and those before them, our schools are dilapidated. School materials are completely not only inadequate, they are nowhere to be found. Ladies and gentlemen, because of the actions of these few people, ladies and gentlemen, some of the teachers make food, bring them to school to sell so that they can subsidize their salaries. School teachers, ladies and gentlemen, because of the actions of people like Baikuruma and the ones named in the commissions of inquiry and those before them, because of their greed, their actions, their nefarious behavior, their satanic behavior, ladies and gentlemen, their lack of sympathy for the people of Sierra Leone, their selfishness, ladies and gentlemen, many people go to bed without food. Monies that were supposed to be diverted to subsidize farmers, training, bring tractors, seeds, fertilizers. Those monies went into the pockets of people like the former government and his administrators during his regime and before his government. Ladies and gentlemen, because of these kinds of corruption, ladies and gentlemen, energy shortage in our country is all over, depriving development, depriving hospitals to function, depriving factories to produce. Ladies and gentlemen, because of the actions of corrupt people, such as those named in the commissions of inquiry, my fellow Sierra Leoneans, pregnant women die, lack of good medical care or medical attention. Infant mortality rates in Sierra Leone is at 10%. Because of the actions of the people named in the commissions of inquiry and those before them, ladies and gentlemen, mosquitoes, dirt, unsanitary areas in Sierra Leone are causing our people to contract diseases all over the place. Typhoid fever, that was very, very difficult or hard to hear about as a diagnosis on a Sierra Leonean, is almost everywhere in the country. It's almost 80% of the people have typhoid fever. Malaria can't even touch it. And that is because of the filthy areas that are left in our neighborhoods with no resources, monies to hire laborers to take care of those poor areas. Ladies and gentlemen, while the ones that are stealing from us are living in luxury, way away from the slums, where no mosquito comes close to infect them with any kind of germ or disease. These are the people that the current president, His Excellency Julius Maada Bio, refused to jail. These are the people that the current president, His Excellency Julius Maada Bio, refused to ban from holding any political office or any public office in our country. He completely denied that recommendation in the commissions of inquiry. And his excuse was it will politicize the efforts that he is making to fight corruption. I think, Your Excellency Julius Maada Bio, this, my friend, is not fighting corruption. This, my friend, is promoting double standard and two forms of justice system. One, the most favorable one and good one for the rich. The other, the most devastating and painful one for the poor youths and poor population of the citizens of Sierra Leone. This again is Lansana Sako with the Hidden Truth. God bless you. God bless Sierra Leone.